So, you wish to be a Roman governor? Congratulations! The Emperor himself has deemed you worthy to take charge of these lands. Once struck by disaster, they're now ready for new leadership. Your leadership. Your story begins here, on a humble island with azure shores. Latium. Whether you dream of a bustling trade empire or conquest-driven dominion, success is never guaranteed. No two cities will ever be the same, as every choice you make shapes your city in your image. Govern well, and the Emperor will sing your praises. Govern poorly, and, well, the consequences won't be pleasant. Every decision you make will shape your legacy. So, how does one become a good governor? Let's find out.
Alright, finally, here we are now in the game itself, and boy, it is 4K, it is real graphics, not streamed anymore or anything like that, and yeah, we're on this island here, and our goal right away, of course, as always, is to create a bustling, smaller town. And bustling it is with trees, as far as I can see. So we're playing the demo, of course, and in the demo, I think this is all a preset, so we do have a mackerel population here, grape population, and so on. So this is a good starting point to get to tier 2 ASAP. By the way, I am only allowed to play 1 continuous hour, so everything above that is then locked again. And let's check it out quickly. I want to get to those trees here, so we can start our building production right away. And the reason why I'm using trees right away is because replanting takes ages, and using trees speeds the whole thing up quite a bit. We're also going to start with our sawmills right over here. The game was paused actually. And as you can see up there, the time is ticking, the clock is ticking, and we want to get this going here. There is, I think we should be able to get us another lumberjack going, and I'm just gonna have this one here as well. So this is gonna be quite a busy warehouse with so many things coming in, and yeah, we can also just marvel the graphics. This is the game now on max details and with ray tracing activated, right? And despite all of that, I'm maintaining 60 FPS for now. Of course, it's an early town, so we'll just see how performance looks later on. We continue, and I continue here with, once again, really, for the lack of creativity, I'm sorry for that, but since we are under time pressure, I'm just gonna quickly build me something so that we can actually get a bit further, so I can show you more things then down the road, right? And we start, of course, with some Liberty residences once again. And once again, we also have then the blueprint mode, right, that I can have there. And I would actually like to use this as well then. And the cool thing is, yeah, you can actually plaster a road around this. I like this. And we once again can also copy our blocks like that. All right, 27 timber we have. Let's actually get them started here. And what I also need to do right away is I need to get a food production going, because without that in this game, as opposed to Anno 1800, you don't get anyone moving in, right? So 0, that's it. Until we have some food, and those fish, they will do the job for us, hopefully. So in this session, I focus on Latium again, the Romans. And in the next session then, the next video, I will then be focusing on the Celts once more, to also enjoy them. And on my PC now, the game, it just looks fantastic. Really, really nice looking game, I think, there. And once again, also, you are watching a compressed YouTube video, so wait for the game to be on your PC as well. Alright, we have this one. I'm trying now to get my balance up here as quickly as possible. Let's also build a few more houses. And then we're also gonna head with that fisherman here. And, Anno, typical, lots of details when you look at those productions. And finally also a game with proper HDR implementation, even though it's not on the video. Seas is good. Yeah. This is one of those quests that you can do. We can actually pay him something. 400 is nothing, so I'm actually gonna go ahead and do this and not get any penalty going, right? And with that we can actually upgrade faster, and I would like to do this. So I'm probably gonna go ahead with just density blocks, really. And also on that side here and here. Just quickly get our roads going. There's also a tutorial. You can actually disable this one. And a bit further up here, probably. I'm gonna push my road all the way up there. This road building is also so nice. It's so, you know, so easy to just draw the roads. And oat does not need a fertility, so we can actually just go ahead and get me my oats going right away. Probably, wait a second, there's a ruin. Let's have it here. Okay, and with this we can then also draw our first fields here, like so. Then I would just like to copy me this, because I know we're gonna need a lot of porridge then as well down the road. Also, market and tavern have been unlocked, very good. And the porridge is something that actually gives you once again this population boost to it. So that's something we definitely should be keeping in mind. Okay, I'm trying to get most of it in, or we're just gonna have 2 districts again. Yeah. Right, could have one here. And then we're gonna have another one here. Let's actually start with this one. Also the tavern. For a bit of happiness. Let's have this by the main road. And then also our market.
We're both very small fish.
And have you a house?
Just crazy. The details. Just gonna look forward to playing this one without time constraints in the future. Let's get me my porridge stand going here. So I'm just gonna have them by the farm here. And then, as we can see, we do have a bit of a radius around that. But the porridge stand does not need to be in the city, so I'm not gonna do this. I think the tunic is the first one that actually, yep, gives the area of effect income. So we have the radius then here, and this is a building that you should have then in your various districts, right, to get things going. And let's have them here. I also want to show off the fields along the roads. I think this looks also quite nice, even though, of course, it needs a bit more fine-tuning, right? If we want to have it like that. There you go. And then we can have our tunics. So let's actually start with them. And what I also love is when you have fields close to the roads, as you can see, you have the fence here. I think this is fantastic. Fantastic detail. And then let's also have our spinner there. Already gets its access then right away to the warehouse. By the way, we should probably go out there with my ship and explore a bit. No materials on board. And we continue with another district here that we can finish. Probably there are 2 river slots here that we could use.
You must be the governor.
Licia Ma is coming in again, so she's the one that I've seen the most so far. We'll just see if she has a story.
Clouds, like the ones you see in the desert at dawn. What is yours?
And once again, we can also extend our polite greeting then to her. We should probably be doing this. Also reach the next city status, small town now. And every city status that you reach reduces your fire risk, for example, or your fire safety, right? So this kicks in after a quite short amount of time only. And then you need to be on your toes when it comes to fire and stuff like that. Just waiting now for the tunics to come in, because with that we can then upgrade. Probably just gonna take this one, push it up here again, towards the tavern that we have there.
Our scouts have sighted new land.
There she is.
Oh, governor!
Diana. She's an NPC, so she's someone like Archie, gives you quests. She also purchases pigs quite a bit. I wonder why. And she's got some items too. These items are really expensive, like 100,000. I can't afford this for quite some time still. Yeah, you just gotta marvel at those sites. Beautiful. And it's a mixed bathhouse. There's also Valeria coming in again, another NPC.
How my tenants use their floor space is up to them.
And she would be purchasing marble, for example, sells me fish already, and also has some specialty items there again. Like income boost for all buildings in range of my villa. City status 3 has been acquired to growing municipia. And with that, once again, also getting lower on my hazards here. On my chances to catch the plague or a fire. I don't think there's a fire at the moment so far in my town. I'm also happy to see that they've improved the people walking around. They looked a bit drunk, right, in the alpha version. So this has been greatly improved now. Some of them are still looking a bit wonky, but overall I think that city image has been improved. We could also build our first bridge now. Now, there are these sandbanks here. When we look at that, we can see that a bridge here costs 8 tons. And outside of a sandbank, it costs 11 or 10 tons. So I think so far, this can be used for a bridge. You don't have to though, right? It just gives you a nice little advantage of what you want to do with it, right? And you can also, and this is really cool then, make this bridge into a bigger bridge, right? So it's not dividing into 2 bridges or something like that anymore. I like this. It's, by the way, yep, the same map that we've played in the very first reveal gameplay. And I'm just gonna go up here again. There's so much space here. We do have some money left over though now, so I can build some roads here. And I would like to have my next production chain here, which is then my hats, the Peleus Felter. Alright, and let's start with that. Yeah, 3 fields, so we can have them here with a production of 2 per minute. So 2 of them can actually be used, and they also have their area of effect again. So we should probably have them close to the city. Or in the city.
Scouts have sighted new land.
It's a fine day. You can get some very nice vistas in. Like this. Alright, let's actually get them going as well. Probably, yeah, in my artisan area here. So we do have already this area there. Let's actually move this one again. Closer to this one, right? And then have the same thing on the other side here. As long as they have access to the warehouse, that is entirely fine. Of course, these are optional goods, right? So you don't need to have both of them. Just one of them is fine. And this one here gives me an income of +2. And this one here gives me income +1 and a happiness boost by +1. Which is important since we're rather low on happiness already. My ship, in the meantime, is discovering new islands, like this one here. It's huge with a lot of rivers. Or this one here with lots of flat land in the center. There's so many resources we haven't touched yet. Oyster, flax. We also have a statistics menu again, of course. So here I can see now, for example, that Tunix is very tight here for production and consumption. I would love actually to have the production as white and the consumption as green. I don't know why, but this seems a bit odd to me, to my eyes at least. But anyway, you know, you get used to it quickly. So I can see the fish is low, Tunix is low again. So we will need to use some boosting here. Unfortunately, also, you can't have these fisheries anymore in the open sea, like in Anno 1800. We need to have a direct beach access now at all times for them. And the tunic, number 3, so those 2 already supply the city. So you still need an industry zone, right? A zone where you have a lot of artisan buildings together. Because demand just quickly outpaces the space that you have to build them. So let's just have this one here too. I can always move them back in the city if I want to, if I expand with another district, for example. Of course, at some point we have satisfied all the needs, and we can go ahead and upgrading my population to the next tier. Tier 2 it is. The plebs.
You need a villa, Ere, essential in demonstrating your control of an island.
Right, with them, of course, we do have a whole bunch of new industries. First of all, I would like to get me more lumber going. So I'm gonna have me another sawmill here, together with my warehouse. And we should also get going with the coal production. Not here though. So here we'll have something else then. Let's have the coal production a bit further up here in the north. You actually need to have a dense forest for this. There it is. Alright, so something like that. Looks fine. It is also affecting, by the way, other industrial buildings. There you go. The sheep farm, for example, has been affected by it. So we need to move this a bit further away so that it's not affected anymore. Let's go ahead, build me my charcoal burner. And also the next productions we have once again. Also, I would like to work on my first brick production. For that we need the clay pit again. And then also our tiler. And once again, this is also negatively impacting surrounding buildings. So I'm gonna have my fire hazard. I mean, okay, there it is, the question. Should we have all the fire hazard buildings clumped together? I think this is not a good idea. So I'm gonna have them a bit spread out, right? Like closer here to my warehouse. And you can actually have then a vigilis that is reducing the fire risk of the surrounding area. I think this is a safer approach. Alright, also, once again, we need to get the villa going. Alright, this time, I'm gonna place it up here. Last time it was actually in the city, right? It makes sense. It gives you prestige that you can use then, right? And it should be also far away from the beach. But to make things a bit different, let's actually have the villa up here. It's on this mountain slope. I like this. There's also no beach close by, right? So it should be easy to protect this one. Just gonna get rid of that road again. And then we have that connection here. All the way up into my residence once we have some tiles. And there's also the night creeping in now. I think we have a beautiful sun going down over there. And what you can also notice right away is that the clouds this time are rendered in real time. Like in 1800 you have a fixed skybox. And this is now looking much more dynamic. I think there's a quest lurking. And take the Liberty aboard on my ship. And where should we go now? And drop them off here. These are tourists that we're delivering to the next NPC then over here. Alright. We continue also with a bit of city expansion up here in the north still. And I'm also building now my vigilis here in the city center, which is directly reducing then the fire risk. So we now have a positive fire safety again. This is reducing then the amount of fires you basically get in the city, right? And then I would also like to continue upgrading. Since we have a lot of timber, why not use that?
A city is unhealthy. Ideal conditions.
For religion, I like to go with Ceres in the beginning. Though for some islands it would make sense also to go with Neptune. In this case here, Ceres just gives you the earlier boosts to your farming and agriculture. And since bread, for example, is rather expensive to produce, this gives you a nice early boost for that. Let's actually have some bigger fields like that. And by the way, also what you can do, let's switch back to daytime. It's easier when you want to build something. We can also pause the day-night cycle. think there would be another coastal side over here that I would like to use. Just around these ruins there. And we need 2 of them. Together with the flour mill, which is just sitting here by the shores. And then we also need the bakeries, and this one here, once again, can be in the city, but with caution, because it also increases the fire risk. So I'm gonna have them a bit further at the edge, where we also have our firefighters. Build that one. Let's build both fields, because you need to have 2 to support 1 flour mill. And then we have the flour mill. Okay, for my next productions, I'm gonna move a bit further over here again. So a bit further away, as we have a bit of space here. Now we go into the realms where, you know, your productions will need different islands too. So, for example, my amphora here needs a resin. That is something that we don't have on this island at all. There's not enough time to settle on another island, really. I mean, I can still try it out. We do have the ship that has delivered them over there. So let's actually just finish this quest. Perhaps we get something nice out of that. Seems like we didn't get any reward out of this. Let's just check it out. Perhaps we have some resin close by. There is resin. Alright, let's get to this island there. It's actually rather close to my main island. We could probably, yeah, we could actually do this, I think. Let's try to get the resin going. The next one would be the sandals, though, that I would like to push, and that's the pigs. The pigs also reduce the parameters of the surrounding area, right? So you gotta be careful with where you place them. Let's just get the warehouse down here. There we get the pig farms. They're producing how many? Oh, actually quite a bit. So this is already 4 tons of hides. Also gonna need a salt pond. Let's have this one. Yeah, let's have it here. There we have a nice access to the beach. By the way, how far can you go outside? Up to this point here. That's actually quite far. Gonna copy me this one. And then we have the tannery. We can have this one and should have this one in the area. Though, as you can see, it's actually also affecting other production buildings, right? Because it's such a polluted building, right? It causes lots of pollution. It's just nasty to have. This one's also 2, so we can actually build 2 of them. And then I can go ahead with my sandal maker. And this one is something, again, that we can have then in the town center. I'm gonna have this one a bit closer to my warehouses. One I'm gonna have over here. One I'm gonna have over there. They actually produce only after 2 minutes. So you need to have a bunch of them, right? If you want to cover your whole town with that. It's a direct income boost again that you can get out of these. And we need them to finish my clothing demand there again, right? Food with the bread is already satisfied. We got the service buildings, and then I need to have the amphora or the olive oil. Now, olive oil theoretically is easy because it only needs olive fertility. But olive fertility, based on my experience so far, seems to be extremely rare. So we'll just see where I could squeeze this in. There's no olive here. No here. None here. None here. Yeah, there's no olive, right? Down here is olive. It's further away. It's a pretty expensive island. It's the only one I've found. Now, selling on islands only costs you money, right? So there is no resource demand anymore. So you can decide yourself what kind of island you want to settle. Let's actually upgrade some houses there to get us a bigger city going. And yeah, this one further makes my parameters here worse, right? So should really get started on some boosts to my safety parameters. That means I do need to have a fire station here. And very important, a policia, right? The police. Because they actually give you also a boost to your industry zone.
Put a stamp on that. Let them know who made it.
Alright, yeah, the olive island actually costs me 22,000. But I think we can make this work. So let's get the olive island. The cool thing with the olive, as you can see, that olive growers, the plantations only cost me farmers, right? The resin would actually take workers' plebs. So this is easier to set up quickly. And it's also 2 tiers that we get with that. So we fully satisfy the household needs with that. So I would like to get this going. This is not so good. We are growing city now. The parameters worsen. But what I can do is I can now build my sanctuary. And yeah, I'm gonna have this one here in the center. Since the demo is limited to only tier 2, I'm just gonna use the center space here for those 2 service buildings, right? And the Grammaticus on the other side for learning improvements. And with that, you have a nice area here in the center where those 2 are filling it in. We also have with the Grammaticus the research then. And once again, yeah, increasing the range of my market is one of the first ones I go, because you can have bigger districts with that, and also increasing the trading post here. This would be something to keep in mind. Also, we unlocked our first milestone, inspiration it's called, right? If you do this, like have a growing city here, you unlock then more branches of your research, right? Here, for example, we do need to have 2 cities devoted to a single patron. We can actually do this already. Establish a trade route. We can also do this already. Let's get my ship, and that's my flagship. I would like to get me some tiles. We have lots of them, and planks, and get them down here to start a basic production once again. It's also going to be important to start on the soap, because this is the health boost, and boy we need health. So in this case here, let's go ahead and get me my lavender fields going. So let's have them beside the pigs. Perhaps it's... Oh! We don't have lavender fertility. I have it on the other island though. So a trade route will be absolutely important. Looks like there are some lavender fields already. Some natural grown ones. Get this one down here. Spend a lot of coin on purchasing this island. Look at that. You can also see different formations here. Beautiful, like that rock there. It really does look very Mediterranean. Alright, there's my ship. Let's get the resources off board and immediately start with the production here. The fisher, as always, doesn't need a fertility, so you can have this one right away. And then once again, we're just starting with a basic town. To get the workforce for my farms. And there's really no other purpose for this. We'll just see how many farmers I can get out of that. 33 we already have. I'm not going to bother, I think, with my own timber production. The thing with those is that they actually grow really slow, right? Like 2 minutes for 1 olive ton is nothing. Also, they're huge. And expensive. Okay. I'm really going just with those, yeah. 4. Why not? And then we can also go with the lavender. That's the soap, right? Over here. That's also 2 minutes. It's a happiness boost for the surrounding area. That is also funny. Because I already thought that lavender would make you happy. Because it smells really nice. Let's also build the villa. Which is important because it gives you the access to island prestige, which in return gives you access to your bonuses. By the way, while we are at the gods, let's give this one here also Ceres to get me that milestone. And yeah, this island here definitely profits from the farming god or goddess. Okay, so the timber is in. Gonna finish both of the lavender fields, and we can also work on our first trade route now between those 2 islands. And of course, oops, keep Pressa to Cyrena. And I'm gonna add my Titan, my flagship, to this. And we're gonna say in Compressor, get me my lavender. I only have 2 slots available for this though, so yeah. And then also get me my olives. Establishing this to unlock me also another milestone once again. With that we can research a bit more. And off it goes with the resources. Also what I would like to see here right away is... Yes, we can create groups again, right? Very important, I think. To get different groups to sort your trade routes. I didn't check this one last time I was able to play this game, so there it is. Okay, got some quests here again. Find a shipwreck. I don't have an available ship right now to me, so this could be a bit harder to achieve. And we do have here a ruin.
My cousin Aura says she's cursed.
Let's also make sure that we add some fire safety.
I advise you dispatch a scout to explore our surroundings. Information is power.
Happiness-wise, we're actually looking fine. And health-wise, it's the worst. So I don't even have Medici right now in my town. So also, once again, this is something where you basically will need to fiddle around with your city quite a bit, right? To get everything sorted out. There's so many demands kicking in. Let's have one here, and the other one we can have a bit further outside. To reduce that. And once the soap is coming in, this will further improve. By the way, I will need another charcoal burner. Let's have this one here. The lavender. Now we need the renderer out of the pigs. So I'm gonna push me another pig farm here. Get me my renderer. And as we can see, this is once again reducing the parameters of the surrounding area. We're gonna have me fire safety here. This one's producing every minute it was, right? Yes. We need 1 ton. Let's have a second one. And with that, we can actually supply 4 soap makers. Definitely want to have one here. But as you can see, this is also lowering my happiness. So I'm not going to have all of them in the city. In fact, I'm also going to have 2 outside here. In a new industry zone that we could create over here. Okay, so this one's finished, basically. Now we have the olive. And this one really just needs olives, right? And then we have the olive oil. And this one has no penalty, but just health boosts. So I would like to have this once again here. Somewhere. And yeah, I can make 3. If I have one here in the town center, that would be glorious.
Fire has started in your city.
I mean, we don't really need all of them here. These are actually some smaller bonuses that we don't really need at this point. So I can push this also in to maximize the yields out of that. And yeah, with that we have fulfilled all the basic needs that you have for tier 2. And hopefully also a way to fight this. We have the firefighters here. And we can also see all the incidents in the closed area. There's no mobilize button anymore though. So I'm probably gonna have another one over there. There's also building a new one, the watchtower. And this one is a very tiny building that you can have quite a few times in your city. And it's basically increasing the happiness of the surrounding area. Okay, we could also do some quests now. There is this ship that sank. The Isis. And I think there is my... Oh, wait a second. Let's actually unload. Those goods here. Yeah, very good. Health has actually now improved again to the positive levels. No, just on time. We are now a large city, and that means it's kicking it down again. All right. The problem is we don't have any buildings to counter that penalty now. Okay. What is that? Darkness swells to fills the holes and holes of the ices, and at the edge of hearing you can almost make out something like a whale. As you follow, the whales resolve into something like speech. Should we pursue this? Oh yes.
Governor, you must sink this ship for good.
And we are now destroying it with our arrows. There you go.
The wind is at our back.
Probably to find a salute.
A ship is under attack.
A shipwreck wreckage. And we need to deliver this one back.
The waters here hold
Okay,
great comfort
we
for
could
those
purchase
with
this ship.
busy
Let's do it.
lives.
That's a new ship that I haven't seen yet. It's a pentaconter, but it's a military one, so it's an upgraded version with lots of archers on board. And this one is a really beautiful one, very detailed. And they're ready to shoot, it seems. They also have the ship archer upgrade and the ship scorpion upgrade, so they're doing a lot of damage here. For 5,000, that's actually quite manageable, right?
Oarsmen, begin.
And this is a military ship, so I would like to know if you can actually settle an island with a military ship. Let's go ahead and get this one going too. You can actually load this off board.
A gift
And we
from
get some
gods.
25 olive oils we get out of that. Let's resume the trade route. We also have enough timber, so I would like to have some fortifications here. And there's this gate that we can have. Nice. And then have something surrounding us here. Oh, overlapping radius. Interesting. The archers cannot overlap? Interesting, alright. I wonder why. This doesn't make so much sense to me. Alright, so you can only have one of these here. Especially if the radius is quite large for that one. Alright, military ship has arrived. And no, look at that. We cannot settle with a military ship. Interesting. Okay, there's no bonus coming out of that. I still have something to pick up
The
though.
wind is at our back.
So let's just check it out.
A trader should know the
That is
ocean.
also a pentaconter,
I
a military
dip my
ship.
toes inside
Also just for
every chance I
5.9.
get.
So I think it could be a very valid strategy early on to purchase a bunch of them to protect yourself.
Hat.
And of course, I myself continue with a bunch of upgrades. You can, by the way, just delete those ruins here. Right, you have them on the whole island. Unfortunately, they don't yield any resources or so. You just delete them, for now at least. Okay, my ship has arrived. And deliver that one to that one.
Oarsmen, begin.
Back and forth. And the military ship can actually do this. Also, we have a new goddess, and that's Minerva. And Minerva, divine avatar of wisdom, is a master and patron of 1,000 arts. Devotees of Minerva aim to live up to her lofty ideals. And she is boosting my artisan production, more or less, right? So my trousers, my tunics, and everything that is included with copper. Let's get her in. Mercury we also have then, down here. And then we have a cult that we can unlock for the Celts. Oh no. City status. We have arrived and we can deliver the feast.
Today, you are not among masters and dominates, but among...
But I think that's it. Make a choice. Free wine flows like an aqueduct or sewer. Some of your liberty have clearly enjoyed themselves a bit too much. One of them vomits. You'll have to ruin the liberty's fun before they ruin your reputation. Cut the wine supply. I think this is the thing that is a bit safer. And by the way, since we have a bit of coin, do you have a specialist for me we could use? Rare Prosperina. Workforce reduction for mines and pits. Ships with self-repair. Oh, okay, nice. Can we take this one? This is an upgrade for your captain, the baler, and now the ship is self-repairing itself 30% faster than before. Nice.
Shall be done. A ship sail.
These ships cost you also workforce, liberty and plebeian workforce, and also some upkeep, of course. Hello everyone and welcome back once again to the Anno 117 Pax Romana demo, and this time we are joining Albion, or we are exploring Albion, and in this case we are playing as the Celts once again. I'm gonna go with a different approach this time around though. Last time we played as the natural Celts, as you might call them, or the spiritual Celts. This time I would like to jump right into the Romanized Celts, so that's the other variant that you can choose if you play in Albion. Now, we need to get the economy going first though. Oops, this was a bit too close here. And yeah, once again, with the demo, we are having a bit of a time constraint. That is, I can only play one real live hour, right? And that's it. Doesn't matter though if I speed up the time, so I can play on the second fastest level there to, yeah, get the progress going there a bit faster, right? Let's continue with building us a smaller town than somewhere here with our very first houses. And yeah, we're gonna have them right here, close to my harbor area, as usual. Once I plop down the first buildings, very important for the Celts as well, is that you start with a food production, right? So this is the first thing you immediately need to do, otherwise there's no one gonna move in. And the cockle picker is my first one that we can have then right over here. And this is now producing us some cockles that we can use for eating. Funnily enough, we start with a bit of a waiter workforce on the base level, right? Just enough so that we can already have 3 sawmills. Oops. 3 sawmills and also a cockle picker working right away. So get the economy on early on. No boosting of the productivity as far as I can see though. So that's not something that we can choose at the moment at least. Now I continue with my roads then over here. Once again, we have the swamplands in this area. And once again, I just marvel the graphics, right? Because this game is really gorgeous. I also like that the scale kind of like seems to me increased now than before. So everything looks a bit bigger overall. Let's start exploring the area around my map immediately because I want to find some place to expand, of course. Now, this is also a funny quest that we get always. You can actually seize the goods of someone to give you a bit of food, right? And even if you screw up the early economy, like the first building order, the game kind of like gives you a helping hand there to make things right again. All right, let's actually go into the planning mode, right? There's this one here. We can also toggle it. And in this case, let's go ahead and continue with some structures that we want to have. And I would probably like to have then a market of some sorts right over here. Right in this area. And don't forget, as always, we're gonna need also our artisan buildings then in here. Let's build all of them right now.
Our scouts have sighted new land.
Very good. There's also some new islands now coming up. And also research I would like to unlock as fast as possible. Can we already go for religion? No. We need to reach that first milestone. Food is coming in. That's the cockles. Also the eels coming out of the quest that we got. We can also have our own eel production then here in the swamps. For the swamps, I would like to probably go with 2 points of entries. So this is a point that we can take, right? Because there's then cliffs here. Because otherwise we would need to build 2 large roads, right? 2 long roads. And these roads are very expensive because they cost you wood, Workforce is in, so I would like to go ahead and immediately continue with my sawmill number 4. Yeah, we're pushing. We're pushing. And we can also check if my warehouse is overloaded. Once again, we have the ramps working this. Okay. And I continue as always with some more housing. And all the different types of layouts that we can use for this. Ah, by the way, here, gonna make it a bit tight. This is something I don't like so much, right? That we do have the new shape of the roads now, which is awesome, but the buildings cannot be adjusted to it, right? So they can still only rotate in a fixed angle. And I would have loved for having assets adjusting to the road there as well. This is definitely a missed opportunity. Using this new feature, it kind of like feels a bit, you know, strange because I cannot fill in those gaps here now. Not even with all the ornaments that there are, right? So I think you cannot place anything in here ever. So that's a bit of a strange thing. I still like the shape, so let's go ahead and build it. And we also unlock the market and the Bard's Heart of that. The market I would like to have right here by the main road. And then we also have the Bard's Hearts and incredible hard as a non-native speaker to pronounce this, a Bard's Hearth. So let's just call it a BH, and the BH I'm gonna have somewhere over here. It has a very small radius, right? So gotta make sure that I get most of it in, like so. There you go. All right. Also, we continue with exploring some beautiful islands. This one here, I love all the new shapes that we have. This one here looks like one of the New World islands in Anno 1800, right? With that shape here. There's a swampland just on this side. It's one giant swamp. I'm gonna especially be curious how the swamp is gonna affect the late game of Albion, because we have more than 2 tiers, right? We have 3 tiers in Albion, so it's a bit more complex than the New World in Anno. And this is gonna be interesting. City status, small town has been achieved.
You must be the governor. My name is Licia Ma.
Hello, Licia.
Licia means glowing clouds.
That's very interesting. Tell me more.
In the desert at dawn. What is yours?
I'm just Niv. Thank you very much. Okay, let's actually have... Wait a second. There we have then our... Here we have then a bit more artisans, right? You can also have some ornaments in here, whatever. And this one goes then up. Like, could also make it like so. Let's go with a bit more chaotic approach. All right, timber we have a lot. I think we really are a bit too slow there. Okay, let's build all of them. There you go. And next in line, we have now the swamp over here. So we have 2 new productions that we can check out now. The reed and the tunics. The reed gives you income and health, which is going to be important since health is already deteriorating. It needs, however, marshland. So I need to get this one in here somewhere. Let's try this approach. I'm going to have my warehouse. There's no additional cost if you place it in the swamps. So I'm going to have my warehouse out here because we're going to have a bunch of production around that. Also research, that's very important. Let's go with the market focus right away. I love this one. It's increasing the range of the markets by 20%, right? So you can squeeze in more buildings for each market you build. And actually these are also very important here then. So the night watch gives you additional patrols. For the firefighters, we can have the same thing here. So I'm gonna go with those, and then we're probably focusing a bit on, yeah, for example here, the sewing circles gives me more knowledge for each tunic maker that we have. We're gonna have a bunch of them. See, this is 3 already, growing municipia. And in this case, let's have our reed gatherers. Let's have the first one here, just along the edges. That looks right to me. And then we have the second one here. Give a bit of space up there because there's another entry point then into the marshes. 140 fields is really quite a bit. So yeah, there you go. That's 2 of them. And with that, we can have now our shoe weavers. And yeah, we should have them in the center or in the city itself. So this is where I have a bit of space. Now there's 2 radiuses here that matter for you, right? The first one is the circle radius that we have. The circle shows the area of effect for the resident buildings, whereas the road radius that you can see actually affects the cargo hauler, the one that gets the resources to the production building. So the green street needs to extend all the way to a warehouse, right? Whereas the circular one only needs to extend over all the residences, right? So there's those 2 things. Let's continue up here in the north in my production area, and we're gonna push, yeah, here, because I would like to start with my next production, which is the hemp farms. And don't worry, we're gonna have a quick look at that beautiful lake over there in a second. I want to finish my field here. Is there a more beautiful city builder out there? I don't think so. I really don't. There you go. Let's have those, and then my spinners, and they also once again need to be in the city, providing me a boost of +1 coin. Right, so let's have one here, and I'm gonna have the other one over here. And just in case, because we're gonna have more artisan buildings, I would like to have another warehouse then over here somewhere, because we will expand to this area. Because of my time constraints, I'm gonna push just more copy and paste blocks. By the way, we should be able to get the next market going here. Right, let's keep a bit of space there. Why not? It can definitely be looking chaotic. I have no problem with that, no qualm, no quarrel. There you go. This is awesome. And then we can have then a Bard's Hearth, a BH again. Probably will need to get rid of some buildings here in the center at some point to make room for the big buildings that we have for tier 2 then. Now, we should be getting everything in now. The last remaining production buildings are in effect. And I'm just really expanding now my population, right? So we can have another block here and here. As Lancross is growing. You can also have a quick look to the lower streets. And so we can also finally advance to tier 2 in this beautiful little Celtic village. And let's just go ahead. And now we can choose the path, right? Last time we played as the Celts, the normal ones. And this time around we're gonna go with the Romano-Celtic. Bear in mind, you can have both of them actually on the same island as far as I know right now. And you can of course also have them on each island their own ones. You're not locked into one path for eternity. Both of them have different specialities. This one here is more natural, believing, spiritual. They also have cloaks and cheese, and yes, you have then the tier 4 Romans, for example, that want, for example, cheese, right? So you need to go for them anyway at some point. Let's go with the Romano-Celtic store for this playthrough, and they also give me the knowledge, or they're focusing on knowledge more or less, and then also brooches and mirrors and stuff like that. Also, they have different houses, right? So they have the Romanized Celtic versions of these houses.
I want the people here to take care of each other. Time of gains for all.
All right, these are finished. Now we immediately can work on my second construction material, that is the tiles. And for this, we need the mud dryer first. And yeah, let's just have 2 right away. And then I can have my tiler here. And yeah, this is also once again something that reduces the fire safety of the surrounding area. And then we need a charcoal burner. This one needs a lot of wood, and I'm probably gonna push one over here, far away from everyone. With its own warehouse. But locked behind dense forests. And oh wow, there's a second marshland coming up that I didn't see so far. I'm blind. I thought this was part of, I don't know, background assets, but no, actually it's buildable space. Where can we enter this? Not here. Here it is. This would be the entry point into marshland number 2 then. I'm really curious how tier 3 Albion looks like with the marshlands then. Alright, let's build me the last houses over here. And we also continue with more roads than here. And here we're actually now closing in on the lumberjacks, so I will not be able to endlessly expand over there. This one, actually we can move this one a bit further over, so I have a bit more space here. You can still have amazing shapes though, right? Like, I like this block actually. It's a good block. I can totally see that the Roman version would be more grid-based, right? Whereas for the Albion version, I would probably go with a more chaotic approach. I think it fits more to the theme. But the Roman cities definitely, they should look a bit orderly, right? Time to add some more artisan buildings then, for these. And also another shoemaker. Oh, okay, there's no need for them. There, probably, for a bit of happiness. Now we also have access to the city services. So, especially for health, this is really important. And yeah, we could have this one here in the middle to get the maximum bonus out of it. Very nice. For a central hospital, more or less. As the sun is going down. This is really a fantastic view, ladies and gents. Holy cow. The sky, I love that it's calculated now in real time, so it's not a fixed skybox anymore. And look at what it does for the atmosphere. That's crazy. Do you see how also the fog is coming out of the ocean? That is just... Now it's morning, right? No, it's actually late evening. That is an amazing job. Honestly, it is. Okay, let's go back to daytime though. It's just easier for construction. We do have the warehouse here. Let's make a connection. Like so. And let's also add another cockle picker. Alright, for my Romano-Celts, we do need bread and sausages, right? That's two things that the normal Celts don't need. So the donkey mill we need and the wheat farm. There is no fertility attached to this as far as I can see. So it makes sense to have a bunch of them. Probably then here, but there's also some mountain sites that I would like to keep. Here, just along this one. Then we can have some grain fields. 140 is once again quite a bit. For the grain farm it makes sense, right? Look at that. This is well done, right? So at least the fields can be adjusted to the different shapes of the road. Which adds then a very good dynamic look. I would love for the buildings to be able to do the same thing, but unfortunately, that's not happening. Alright, I'm actually going to push 4 of them right away to not have to worry about it anymore. Because I think that's all the bread I'm ever gonna need. And then we just need some of these. And... oh, the ratio is 1 to 1, in fact. Okay. That's surprising, honestly. So I need to have actually 4 of them. Start with 2 here, and then another 2 here. Just by those fields. Gonna need another warehouse anyway for more production than here. And then we still need 4 bakeries now that I can build. I think that was way too much. We certainly don't need 4 bakeries right now. Let's have the first one down here and the other one then up here, right? So that's already 2 tons of bread we produce now. And we don't even need a ton, right? So this was way over the top for me here. But it's okay. I hope so. With bread coming in, we actually fulfilled 2 slots here, right? So this would already be enough for all the food. This one gives me more happiness. We don't really need the sausage right now, so I'm gonna wait on that. And instead, I'm gonna go with that eel production here. That we could use here. Because I really want to save some space there. Yeah. Yeah. Very good. Both of them can go for the warehouse. That's my eel production. Where is it? There it is. It's not enough though, so I need another one. Probably over there to get this demand also satisfied. Now, the fire risk is the biggest issue once again. That's of course also because we have the bakeries and so on. So I would like to have a firefighter here. And they're really expensive. For this area then, and we should also have them in the industry zones, right? So here and also in my farming area here. You want to cover as much of that as possible. Okay, also the game reminds me that we should probably be going for our villa at some point. The governor villa. And yeah, once again, you gotta be careful about this. Never have the villa close to the beach, because it should not get destroyed, right? So we might have it here in the center of the island. You can also have it up on a plateau like here. That would be easily defendable. So this would actually be an ideal location for the villa here, right? Have the hot springs close by. I think this is also nice here. Just squeezed in like that. Or here. Could also work, honestly. Yeah, let's have the villa here. This will also be hard for anyone to get into.
There are 2 gentlemen here to see you. Unless that is, I am seeing double.
I hope not, otherwise I would have to replace you. And okay, we can now speak to 2 people here. The Roman Imperium is keen to support its governors. Funds were put forward to hire you, an aide called Julius Lupus. However, there must have been some bureaucratic misunderstanding, because there are 2 Julii standing now before you. Okay, we got Brutus. He has the warehouse effect, 50% workforce reduction, and have 10% increased loading speed for warehouses. Or we got Gaius. Warehouses require 50% upkeep cost reduction, or less than that, and have 10% increased. Yeah, let's go with him, with Gaius. Because workforce is something that we have plenty. I don't care about workforce reduction. Let's build this here. It has a pretty huge effect. And also this one, right? With that, we can get that fire risk down. The higher the fire risk, of course, the higher the chance that you get also severe fires. I do need to have another charcoal burner though. Upgrades are ready. Let's push. And with that, we're growing. Could also have a quick look again at the lower levels. Oh, sorry, I'm playing at the highest speed. It really doesn't look good when you play on the highest speed up front. This looks more realistic now. Still a few zombies we have. But I'm pretty sure this will iron out. right, beautiful. Now, next in line, we have new buildings. That is the Grammaticus. Now, this is the special building you get. And then we also have the Fanum. That actually needs smiths though, right? So we cannot unlock this one. Service-wise, they're happy with the Grammaticus only. So let's actually delete these guys here. And get me in my Grammaticus. Nah. I may have it like so. No, I cannot get it central. I cannot. Pushes the city right away. And with that also, once again, adds more penalties. Okay, this one pushes my research though. And religion-wise, we go with Ceres again. Though I also really like Minerva. And research-wise, the market is coming still along only. So we haven't advanced that far. Okay, also, we should expand to the next island. And that is this one here. I like the shape of it. And yeah, only money is required to settle here. It's actually something I was a bit shocked in the beginning. Because I was so used to construction materials. But actually, I like it now. It leads to less micromanagement. Because you don't need to, you know, stock resources again on every ship. Okay. We could give Lycia a loan. No. I was offered a loan. We could accept it. I'm gonna decline though. Sorry, I don't need a loan. There it is, market forces. So with that, we have now a bigger radius on a market. There you go. And we can squeeze in a bunch more people.
Citizens are dissatisfied with their lot and may soon revolt.
All right, on the second island though, we don't have... we're starting with the waiter workforce again. So that means I'm going to have my cockles. And then I'm starting with some lumber production again, immediately. Alright, the city we're probably going to have then here. We do need some basic workforce, and this one has the resin fertility that I need. So that's why I'm here for, to get me the resin going. Also olive oil, this is the first good then that we need to have delivered, right, from Latium. The city continues to grow, and so its demands. And if we look at down here, we also have the fashion demand. So the food is now satisfied with bread coming in. The services are satisfied. Now we work on the fashion, that's the brooches. And the brooches, they need a mountain silver deposit. So we have silver on this island, which is great. And we do have some mountain slots. And I would like to use them right away. Up here. By the way, I like the night cycle, but day and night cycle, but really for construction, I like to have a clear picture. How much do we need? Not even a ton, but of course I would like to work in advance. So this one produces 2 per minute. That is actually enough. And once again, you are not bound to a mountain slot, right? So there's just mountain slots now, like in Anno 2205. And you can have any type of mine on a mountain slot as long as there is the fertility of this or the deposit. So we have copper and silver, meaning I can have copper and silver mines wherever I please. There it is. This one needs then a silver forge, and actually 2 of them. And let's have a bit of a forge area then here, right?
One of your cities is at risk of a great fire.
That means we will also need to have our own dedicated firefighter here. Ah, we have already. And then I can have 2 forges here. I mean, actually we just need 1 right now. Also consumes some of my coal then again. There's no coal mine so far, so hope that's enough. And then we have the Fibularium, and we can actually have 2 already out of this. And yeah, once again, something we can have in the city. We don't have to though, because it once again increases the fire risk, right? And we already have the bakeries doing that as well. So you gotta be very careful with these. I'm gonna have them a bit further outside, and I'm only gonna have them close to the firefighters that we have there.
If you're after something, it'll have to wait. I'm a touch busy.
And with that, this production is satisfied. And I will probably really need to get another firefighter going. Yep, this one here. A festival can be hosted. Prevents out diseases. Increases my health. And all chains blessed with Ceres on the island get another 50% productivity. We pay 2,000 for this. Alright.
As painful as it appears.
And we also got some riots down here. For the first time. That's, of course, we have a very bad island happiness. So far, I already have my custodes in the area, so they're already working the magic. Arresting as many as possible. There are way more people on the streets than before. I mean, it looks like the whole city is right here. I continue with a bunch more upgrades to have a proper looking downtown area.
Gotta say it, I'm impressed, Governor.
And since we have reached 1,000, we also get another bonus with the Emperor. Let's also have a smaller village here on my second island now. Together with a market. I'm also gonna need a tunic production on this island to push my people to the next level, because not every production requires only waiters. Here, for example, we do need to have, for my amphora, for the resin trapper or tapper, we do need to have then tier 2. So I need to at least get this one going. So that's the cockles, and that's my tunics. Alright, by the way here, we're full on timber, which is okay. Let's get me another cockle picker. Pretty sure at this point we have an increased demand. And also we have some ruins here. Just glad that we have these points of... Oh, look at that, yep. These here need to have a road entrance on just one side. Okay, so if I want to build another one, gotta make sure that it has its connection. Unfortunately, for... Oh, wait a second, we can have that. We have the herbs fertility on this island. So let's have some herb gardens and then also some pig farms for the sausage maker. This one needs also coal. Huh. That's a tricky one. How much sausage do we need? 1 ton. So I would like to calculate with 2. So I need to have 3 herb gardens, in fact, because they have... They don't even produce every minute, right? The cool thing is they actually have a health boost. So it makes sense to have some of them close to the city, like this one here. I like this. Alright, this is a way of actually squeezing in some ornaments here. Fantastic, because it also creates the fence, or the wall here, along the street. I like that. Alright, that's number 1. Let's have number 2 then here, yeah. And number 3 here. Where's my warehouse? There's the warehouse.
Never out of water long in my line of work. Skin of a newt.
So you can have some of these herb gardens outside. The pig farms, of course, yeah, they're not the happy bunch. So I'm gonna have them a bit further away. And we only need 1, right? So it might even be worth it to just squeeze it in up here. Should work. There you go. Nice.
This will keep you from purloining my cabbages.
The Emperor, I think, has something.
This way we shall remain.
You stand in the presence of Emperor Gnaeus Firmius Calidus, former legate of the Legion. He nods as he surveys you before breaking out a childish grin, a grin with teeth. How do you respond? Hail him, of course. Changes the repetition by 1. There you go. Okay, now we have this one. Once again, reducing the fire safety, but increases my income. I'm gonna have one here, right? And we need a second one, probably up there somewhere. Right, so with that we have this production already going. Let's go back, because here we should be... No, we are not. Why not? Tunics are coming in just now. And now we can work on that upgrade. Wait a second. Let's have these here. There you go. You can also, by the way, go in here and choose the Celtic residence, right? If you want to. You don't have to go for the Romanized version. Now, with that out of the way, we should then be able to get us this production going. Now, the resin tapper just needs, yeah, trees. And we do need to have... I think I'm gonna go ahead with 2. Yeah, we can afford 2. There's the other one. Getting the road connection. The rest I could actually have on my main island. So here we can now start once again a trade route between the two. There you go. And I'm gonna pick Kushuk's light that we have there. And this one is now picking up the resin that we have here. Let's establish this. Also get us that milestone for my research. Albionic research is now available. That's down. That's the municipal research, Albionic research. There it is. Gives you specialities for the Albion area, right? So waiter workforce is increased for the by the governor villa. Also here, the water construction allows the placement of Albion coastal production buildings in water. So not just on the coast. Here we can drain the swamp. And aqueduct boosts for the pastures, iron deposit plus 50%. And the water supply for the aqueducts increased. Stuff like that. I'm actually researching the well right now. We should be finishing it. There it is. Because we need more fire safety. And the well is one of those things that you can research. There it is. It's a tiny building, so you can squeeze it into these areas here, right? And it actually makes sense in a lot of these places to have it. We can have one up here. We can have one over here. And this drastically improves now the fire safety, definitely here in my area that we have. Alright. With that out of the way, let's focus again on our production. So that is the mud dryer that I need once again. And I'm gonna go ahead have one here. And that's it. And now we just need a potter. Fire risk increase. And I don't care about the income though, so I'm gonna have this one in my heavy polluted area up here. Right, and this is then producing potter. I think I'm gonna go with 2 here. Unrest, we should have to the police close by. There it is. Doing the job. And by the way... there's not much room anymore for my firefighters. Up here by the charcoal burners we can have them. Now, the amphora, once it's in, actually has a bonus though, and that's increasing the fire safety. So once the amphora comes in, we should see an increase in fire safety again. Very good. So, you know, actually the potter reduces the fire safety, but increases the income if we have a close to residential buildings. And the amphora itself then is reducing fire risk again, so that's funny. And also, that ship is finally inbound. With the first resin. 8 tons it is. We can also build guest house. That's coming out of the villa. So a villa has a limit of guest houses, right? And this one here is 3, for example. And yeah, think about it like the trade unions, for example. You can have them in an area like here, for example. And you can then attach items to it, right, that you can use for the surrounding area. So this has been the Albion playthrough. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, we've experienced now both tiers. Of course, it's only the beginning. You have tier 3, you have all the productions that you need to set up for the Romans. And then there's also a few surprises down the road as well that you haven't seen yet. Can't even think about it. What I really like is this game so far, the visuals of course. And I didn't even realize it, look at that the villa was so high up, because down here you cannot see this, right? But when you look from the first person mode or the photo mod, it really goes up there steeply into this mountainside there. That's really cool. Yeah, so far so good. Enough with the babbling, enough with the bobbling. I hope you enjoyed this one. And we continue, hopefully then, with a bigger version in the next time that I'm gonna play this game. To really build true megacities of Roman times. Stay tuned.